Every year, new guns roll in and old ones quietly disappear. And here's the thing nobody tells you. Some of the pistols you see on shelves right now, they won't survive into 2026. Limited runs, discontinued lines, companies chasing the next big thing, while the good ones get buried and the junk hangs around. I've seen it before. Pistols that were actually worth a damn got pulled while the plastic garbage kept flooding the market. And the worst part? Most shooters don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. So today's list isn't just about what's good, it's about what you better grab now, because a year from now, you might be scrolling forums wondering why you didn't pull the trigger when you had the chance. Stick around, because the final pistol on this list is already on borrowed time, and once it's gone, you're gonna wish you didn't sleep on it. Every time the big brands fight over the best Micro 9 crown, one pistol gets left sitting in the corner like it wasn't even invited to the party. And that's the kind of gun I pay attention to, because the ones nobody notices are usually the ones that disappear first. I picked this thing up mostly to prove a point. It was cheap, optics ready, slim, and marketed like an afterthought. The kind of pistol you expect to toss in the safe and forget about. First few dry fires felt exactly how I imagined. Spongy trigger, plain grip, nothing that made me want to brag. But when I put live rounds through it, I had to shut my own mouth. Recoil was shockingly flat for a pistol this size, reliability was stupid good even with steel case garbage, and in back-to-back runs, it actually embarrassed a buddy's Hellcat. That's when the joke stopped. Here's where it gets ugly. This is Ruger's Max 9, and Ruger doesn't babysit slow sellers. If it doesn't stay on, it's gone. Which means the guys who laughed at it today will be the same ones overpaying tomorrow. So hate it, ignore it, defend it in the comments. Just don't think this thing will be sitting on shelves in 2026. Every few months, the same rumor makes the rounds in forums. A certain pistol might finally get axed. People say it every year, and every year it somehow limps around. But this time feels different because the company's already teasing upgrades, and when that happens, the older model usually gets the axe. The pistol in question? It's the Beretta PX4 Storm. Yep, the space blaster with the goofy slide cuts and those big safety ears sticking out like Dumbo. I used to laugh at it every time I walked past one in a gun shop. Then I shot it and I shut up real quick. Recoil's flat, the rotating barrel actually works, and it runs smooth even when you're dumping hundreds of rounds. A buddy of mine has over 10,000 through his and swears it's softer than anything else he owns. Ugly? Sure, but it refuses to die. And here's the real kicker. The rumor is Beretta may discontinue the PX4 by the end of 2024 or into 2026 as they push a newer design. If that happens, this sleeper pistol that's been one of the best kept secrets in 9mm might vanish overnight. So go ahead, roast it, defend it, argue if Beretta's dumb enough to kill it, but if the rumors are true, you'll be wishing you didn't laugh so hard when they were still sitting in the case. And trust me, if you think this one's controversial, wait until you see the pistol up next. That one had me questioning if the company even knows what they're doing. The VP9 doesn't show off, but once you shoot it, you won't forget it. The grip's probably one of the most natural feeling out there. It's not overdone, but it fits right, and the back straps actually help dial it in, especially if your hands are an average size. The trigger's real solid. Not light and fancy, just clean, predictable, and resets quick. My friend Alice ran it at the range with me a couple of weeks ago, first time she touched one. After 2 mags, she literally stopped and said, "Why doesn't anyone talk about this? It's just one of those pistols that feels easy to control even when you're running it fast." HK doesn't flood the market like some others. They don't push out a new version every 5 minutes, but when they do drop something, it's usually built right. You'll see these going for around $750 to $800 give or take. It's not cheap, but you're getting something that's proven and doesn't try to win you over with gimmicks. Doesn't stand out much sitting in a case. Some of you already own this handgun but have never carried it, but once you get a few mags through it, you'll see what it's really about. But here's the thing. HK doesn't crank these out in massive numbers, and when the next contract pistol comes along, VP9s could start drying up fast. Don't assume it'll be this easy to find one in 2026. But the problem is FN doesn't chase the civilian market the way Glock or Smith do, and that means guns like the 509 Compact MRD can disappear almost overnight. If you wait too long, you'll be hunting pawn shops instead of gun counters. Now, if this was made by Glock, you'd see it everywhere. The FN 509 Compact MRD is one of those carry guns that feels like it was built for something bigger. FN's been making military gear forever, and you can tell they brought that same mindset to the 509. The Compact MRD gives you a smaller profile, but it still feels tough, like you can take a beating and keep going. You get 15+1 with the extended mag, it's cut for optics, and some versions even ship with night sights already on it. The grip texture is aggressive without being annoying, and the way it sits in the hand, it just feels planted. It's not the lightest gun out there, but for something this rugged, it's still manageable for carry. Definitely more of a duty-ready option that doesn't feel oversized. You'll see it running around $650 to $700 depending on where you shop and the configuration. Doesn't get a lot of attention, but it works, and that's really all there's to it. The Beretta APX A1 full size has come a long way, and honestly, it deserves more attention than it's getting. I remember when the original APX dropped, folks weren't really into the look, and the trigger didn't even help either. But Beretta went back, cleaned it up, and the A1 version is actually a solid full-size 9mm now. It's optics ready, the trigger is much smoother than before, and the grip angle feels way more natural. They flattened out the slide serrations too, so it looks a lot cleaner. I've shot a buddy's A1 a few times, and honestly, it surprised me. It tracks flat, runs reliably, and doesn't feel bulky like some other full-size guns do. Right now, you can usually find these between $450 and $520, depending on the setup, of course, and what you're getting, that's not bad at all. The only thing I'd say is the aftermarket support still isn't great. You'll find holsters and parts, but not like Glock or Sig levels. That being said, if you're not a mod-heavy guy, it's ready to go out of the box. It feels like one of those guns that'll vanish from stores the moment people realize what Beretta actually built here. If you've never looked at the APX A1, now might be the time. And here's the kicker. Beretta doesn't give their second chance pistols a long runway. If shooters sleep on this one, it'll vanish just like the first APX did. If you're curious, don't wait until 2026. And the pistol coming up next, let's just say it doesn't have the Beretta name to lean on, which makes the fact that it outlasted my Glock even more embarrassing. Here's the reality. IWI doesn't chase pistols in the US the way Sig or Glock do, which means guns like Masada Slim quietly fade away if they don't catch fire fast. And that's exactly why you shouldn't sleep on it before 2026. But wow, this next one doesn't get talked nearly as much as it should, and that's exactly why it's on this list. This is our friendly neighbor country Israeli-made handgun. It's called the IWI Masada Slim, made in Israel, that's built for carry. I'll be honest, I didn't expect much from it at first, but once I shot it, I was actually surprised how good it felt. Trigger feels good, grip's comfortable, and it's slim enough to carry without losing control. It's got a simple, rugged feel like it was built for function. It shoots flat for how small it is, and recoil's easy to keep under control. It's optics ready, and they're not charging you crazy money for it either. You'll usually see them between $430 and $500, cheaper than most of the guns it's up against. Honestly, it feels like this one got buried under the P365, Hellcat and Glock hype, but it still holds its own. If you want something that works but doesn't show up in every holster, this one's worth checking out. Alright, so this next one's not showy and not trying to be trendy. It's just built to do the job, and that's exactly why it's here. The M&P9 2.0 Compact has been run hard in real-world use, probably more than most folks realize. A lot of cops still carry these because they work. They're easy to control, and they don't choke when it matters. The grip texture is pretty aggressive, maybe a bit much for some hands, but if you're wearing gloves or shooting in rough weather, that texture is exactly what you need. The trigger's better than it used to be, but it still feels a bit soft. It's got that kind of mushy walt some folks don't love, but once you're used to it, it does the job. It shoots softer than you'd expect, and it stays flat even when you're running it quick. I've got over 2,000 rounds through mine, and it's still going strong. No feed issues, no weird malfunctions, just solid. So I trust it. You'll usually see them around $500 to $575 give or take, and honestly, that's not a bad price for a gun you know will hold up. By the way, it's not for beginners. Before moving on to the next surprise, if you've made it this far, quick favor, tap that like button. It lets me know these long videos are worth it. And here's the concern that Smith keeps updating the M&P line so fast that specific models vanish without warning. The 2.0 Compact might be everywhere today, but don't count on it being this easy to find in 2026. And the next pistol? Let's just say it embarrassed me in front of a die-hard Glock guy, and I still haven't lived it down. Walther has a habit of dropping something great and then flipping the lineup before the market even catches on. If you want the PDP Compact while it's still sitting on shelves, don't wait until 2026 to realize it's gone. This one flies under the radar way more than it should. The Walther PDP Compact. The grip and ergonomics feel like something they actually put time into. It just fits right in your hand. It points naturally, the slight's easy to grab, and the trigger might be the best I've used on a striker-fired pistol in this price range. I've run mine through a few different classes, and I can say it holds up. It stays reliable, shoots straight, and you don't get worn out running it all day. It doesn't beat you up like some compact pistols do after 300 rounds. You'll usually see it between $550 and $600, maybe a little more if you're getting the optics-ready one. A lot of folks still haven't caught on, and that's exactly why I'd grab one now. Once word gets out, these will start moving faster. And speaking of guns built for real-world pressure, the next one is something I trust in a much tougher situation. Now at this point, if you're looking for serious value without cutting corners, take a look at the Canik Mete SFT. I picked mine one up a while back, not expecting much, but this thing impressed me right out of the gate. The trigger is crisp, the ergonomics are solid, and you get a threaded barrel, optics cut, and a decent set of sights, all at a price that's hard to argue with. It's got an 18+1 capacity and a grip that fits most hands comfortably, even with gloves on. Recoil's easy to manage, and it actually runs smoother than a few pistols I've paid a lot more for. And here's something people forgot. Turkish imports don't always have guaranteed staying power. If trade shifts or politics step in, these guns can vanish quick. The Mete SFT feels like a steal right now, but that window doesn't always stay open long. The crazy part is what you get for the price. Right now, you'll find it anywhere between $450 to $500, sometimes even lower if there's a rebate running. And for that, you're getting a feature-loaded gun that feels like it should cost more. One reason I've got it in this list, it's a Turkish import, and depending on where things go politically or trade-wise, stuff like this doesn't always stay as available as it is right now. If you're building a solid rotation or just want a gun that punches above its price tag, the Mete SFT is worth grabbing before the window tightens. And speaking of guns built for real-world pressure, the next one is something I trust in a much tougher situation. The next one's the Sig P365 X-Macro, And if you've been watching the market, this pistol's been heating up fast. What makes the X-Macro stand out is how much gun you get in such a small package. 17+1 capacity, optics-ready slide, built-in compensator, and it's still slim enough for everyday carry. That's a tough combo to beat. I've carried one, shot it a bunch, and honestly, it handles recoil better than you'd expect for its size. The flat trigger feels clean, and even with the smaller grip, it still gives you a full-handed hold. A guy I shoot with swapped out his full-size carry for the X-Macro and never looked back. Said it shoots like a bigger gun but carries like a slim one. I'd agree with that. Pricing usually runs around $750 to $800, but I've seen it push higher depending on demand, and that's part of the reason it's here. Availability swings hard on this one. Some months you'll see them everywhere, and other times they're just gone. If this is on your radar, I wouldn't wait. Once word really catches on, you'll either be paying more or waiting for restocks. If this is on your radar, I wouldn't wait. Once word really catches on, you'll either be paying more or waiting for restocks. And the way demand is climbing, 2026 might be the year this pistol becomes a ghost on shelves. But here's the crazy part. The next pistol isn't about hype or capacity, it's the one that made me rethink what Springfield is actually capable of. Springfield doesn't let every design ride forever. Once the Echelon comp and future models grab the spotlight, these early batches could dry up fast. If you want the original at today's prices, 2026 might be too late. Next up is the Springfield Echelon, and this one's been turning a lot of heads lately. I picked mine up out of curiosity, and I'll be honest, I didn't expect to like it as much as I do. The grip feels great, the trigger's clean, and the autocut system is one of the smartest I've ever seen out of the box. The best part is, Springfield didn't just copy Glock or Sig. This one has its own feel. You get a familiar modular chassis, solid slide design, and it shoots flatter than you'd expect from a full-size striker-fired gun. I've seen a bunch of folks online comparing it to the P320 or even the X-Macro, but to me, it feels like Springfield finally stepped up with something that doesn't ride on the name, it actually performs. Right now, you can usually find it between $550 to $620 depending on the shop and if you can catch it on sale. And now, with the Echelon comp model starting to make noise, there's a good chance this platform keeps growing. That also means the early batches, the originals, might not stay as available or as affordable as they are right now. If you were thinking about trying something new this year, I'd put this near the top of the list. First up is the Glock 19 Gen 5. I know it's not some big surprise pick, but there's a reason for that. The Gen 5 fixed what people didn't like about the older models: smoother trigger, no finger grooves, better grip texture. I've had buddies who shot it for the first time and instantly felt comfortable. It's just easy to shoot well, even for someone who's not that experienced. A friend of mine, Mike, calls it the Corolla of handguns, not marketed, not loud, but you trust it to get you where you need to go every time. Personally, I've run mine through hundreds of rounds without a single failure. Different brands of ammo, mixed mags, hot weather, it's never missed a beat. And that's not just me. I've seen guys online say the exact same thing. Never hiccuped. And here's the reason it's on this list. Glock Gen 6 rumors are heating up. You never know how long these Gen 5s will stay widely available. Once the new one drops, stores might clear out Gen 5 stock fast, or prices could spike depending on demand. If you're thinking about picking one up, now's probably the time. It's reliable, proven, and right now, still easy to find. But let's be real. The second Glock pulls the curtain on a Gen 6, the Gen 5 will vanish like a smoke. If you don't lock one in before 2026, you'll be the guy paying double just to keep up. Here's the problem with being the middle child. You either fight for attention or you quietly get pushed out. And right now, one of CZ's most underrated pistols is halfway down that road. I'm talking about the CZ P07, not the flashy Shadow 2, not the hyped P10, the humble hammer-fired P07. It doesn't scream tactical from the case, but once you actually run it, the trigger's crisp, recoil stays smooth, and it points better than most striker-fired budget kings I've ever touched. It's been a quiet workhorse for years, trusted by plenty of shooters who couldn't care less about hype. But here's where it gets ugly. As of 2023, CZ started cutting away at the lineup. The OD Green, gone. The FTE, gone. Suppressor-ready versions and special SKUs, all discontinued. The only one left standing is the plain black model. That's not a refresh, that's a slow fade into the background. And if you follow this industry long enough, you know what that means. When a company starts trimming variants, the clock's ticking on the platform itself. Maybe CZ's doubling down on the P10 series, maybe they've got another refresh on the way. Either way, don't think the P07 will sit on shelves forever. So go ahead, call it outdated, defend it like a diehard, or argue it in the comments. But one thing's clear, this pistol's fighting for its life while nobody's paying attention. Alright, now, I wasn't really going to add this one, but the S&W CSX-E deserves a quick mention. It's not like anything else on this list. Hammer-fired, single action, aluminum frame, and small enough to disappear in a decent holster. The original CSX had some issues, trigger feel and slide bind among other stuff like that. But the E version cleaned out most of it, and for once, Smith actually listened to feedback. Now I don't think it's for everybody, but if you're into that old school cocked and locked carry system, it's worth a look. Price usually sits around $500, but if you're in the right area, you might catch it lower. I talked to a shop near Wichita Falls, Texas that had it at $469. I won't name the place here, YouTube rules and all, but you can dig that up easy. It's different, and with all the cookie-cutter striker guns flooding the market, that's not a bad thing. But here's the catch. Smith doesn't keep these experiment guns alive for long. If you want a CSX-E, you better grab one before it quietly disappears from catalogs in 2026. A year from now, half of you are going to be sitting around saying, damn, I should have picked that one up when I had the chance. And the other half, you'll be the guys grinning at the range, shooting a pistol everyone else suddenly wants and can't find. So don't wait, these aren't just nice to haves, they're the ones that'll vanish while you're still arguing in the comments. Now tell me, which pistol would you grab before the clock runs out, and which one do you think deserves to die off? Drop it below, I'll be there stirring the pot. I'm Steve, and if you're still thinking about it instead of acting, you're already too late.